Hi everyone, welcome to Friday Craft Day. Today we're going to be making a fused petal wreath, and I'm going to be using one of the 8-inch wreath forms that I got from Amazon. And you know, I got those 8-inch wreath forms to make wreaths that would fit inside of my forever wreath. So we'll see. I have a feeling these kinds of wreaths won't be small enough, but we're going to see how big it is when we're finished with it. I have two kinds of mesh. I'm going to be showing you how I burn them together, and it actually, what it does is melt the plastic, so you have to have a good ventilation. My fan will be going, and if it's too loud I will do a voiceover. So anyway and anyhow, I hope you're all having a great day, and let's get busy and start by getting our wreath frame ready and our center ready. So I'll be back in a minute and we'll start our fused petal poly burlap wreath. Back in a second. Bye-bye. Okay, the first thing you have to do is get your frame ready. This is an 8-inch frame, and it's one of those that I got from Amazon. I got a whole package of them, and I have taken a piece of plastic canvas and traced a circle to fill in the middle here, and then just attached it on the back. I used 4 zip ties, okay? And so that now the frame is now ready. So the next thing we need to do is to get the center ready, and this is a 2.8-inch styrofoam ball, and I think this would be big enough for what we need to do. And if it's not, I have a bigger one, but I'm just hoping that it will come out and cover what we need to cover. So what I want to do is to try to decorate the styrofoam ball, and I have Julie used these beads, which are very pretty, and they're kind of shiny, blingy a little bit. And I have 2 kinds. I have pink, and then I have white. And I got all these trims at a Goodwill several years ago. Somebody had dropped off a whole stack of like sewing notions and trims and things. They must have been making costumes and whatever. But I have this trim that I think is so pretty. I'm not sure you can see it good, but there. And I'm going to try to do it with this one because it has pinks and dark pinks like purple. It might be a little difficult because it's bigger, wider, so that it might be more difficult for me to get it to lie flat. But what I'm going to try to do is just cover the top of this ball. So I'm going to start with putting a nice blob of hot glue, and I think I'll put on a finger. And I'm just going to basically wrap it around itself. And really, in all honesty, I should be using a low temp glue when using styrofoam, because it can melt the styrofoam. So I would not use my glue from downstairs because that is very, very hot. And although this is hot glue, it doesn't get quite as hot as the one downstairs. So we're going to try and wrap this, and just adding a little stream of glue. It seems like it's going to work. I got a whole package of 5 of these balls, so if one doesn't work, there's always more. It's nice to use up some of this trim. I used a lot of this trim in albums when I was making like wedding albums. A lot of the pages have trim on them. I'm going to do a little bit more, and then I will continue and show you what it looks like when I get to the bottom. It's going to be pretty. Don't put your thumb in the hot glue. Looking nice, looking pretty. Look at all the little flowers in there. All right, I'm going to continue going around, and I'll be back when I get around to the bottom. So there you go. Isn't that pretty? All the little flowers all over it. So now we need to get it ready to go on the wreath. I've got some floral wire here. You remember I told you I couldn't find my wire cutter, so I ordered a new pair. The day it was delivered, I found the old ones. Isn't that always the way? So I am going to just put a piece of wire in the back of this, and I have these floral pins. You see the shape? And I'm just going to go in one side and go in the other side. And I have a little piece of felt that I'm going to get some good glue on. And I'm going to put it right over that. And now we're going to just let this dry. I could put a couple of T-pins in it. I don't have any up here right at the moment, so I think we'll try it without it. I don't think I do. No, those are corsage pins. There. So now we're just going to set this aside to dry until we get the wreath ready to use it on. So the next thing we have to do is to get the mesh ready. So I'm going to be doing that downstairs because I need to use my wood burner. I will have the fan going quite high, and I probably will have a mask on. So depending on when I listen back at this, how this sounds, I may just do a voiceover for this part. Okay? I'm using 2 kinds of poly burlap instead of a poly burlap and a deco mesh, and we'll see how that works out. So I'll be back in just a few, and we'll be downstairs cutting the mesh. Okay, these are the 2 meshes I'm using. I have a purple plain purple, and I have sort of like a window pane purple. Just waiting for that burner to heat up. Let me give you the numbers. This is called a check mesh. Okay, poly burlap check mesh. And the item number is maybe. Oh, I'm not going to be able to read it without my glasses, and I didn't bring them down here. I'll tell you what, I'll bring these up with me, and I'll give them to you when I get upstairs with the pieces of mesh. I'm going to start by evening off, although it's quite even, the beginning here, because it'll melt those two together. But this isn't quite hot enough yet. Don't you think that flower center will look pretty in that? Let's see if we can... This is the tip I'm using, you see? And this is a wood burner craft for beginners. Okay, I'm just going to try to go down between the lines. And I'm not hot enough yet. And what I'm basically doing is melting these two things together. And sorry, this is not very good on the end here because it wasn't hot enough, but it's getting there. And you can see it smoking. And you can see these two are hooked together. Alright, so now we'll just do some 10-inch pieces. And I'm going to do 12 10-inch pieces. No, 12 and 6, 18 of these. This mesh is such a loose weave. It's easy to follow, but I messed it up already. Alright, there's one. Let's see if we can do the next one better. The object is you just have to go slow, try to follow a line. I have a mark on my mat where to start and finish here. And the lines don't always go perfectly straight. So but that's not going to make a big difference. All right. We cut a couple more here. One, two, three, four, five, six. Seven. Okay, I'm going to continue counting to my 18, and I will be back and show you what I'm going to do next. Okay, now in the middle, the first ones I cut were for the first row and the last row. Now in the middle row, I want the white on the top. So I just switched them around, and I'm going to fuse the end. I had to cut them apart when I started because they were fused. So now I'm just going to fuse the end here. And this little puppy gets hot after a while, I'll tell you. Here we go. So now I need 12 of these. You see the difference? Okay, I'm going to cut the 12 and I'll be back. Okay, we've got the mesh all cut. Let me start by giving you the numbers of the mesh that I'm using. That check mesh, the number is RP8121H2. RP8121H2. It's not a whole lot easier to read with my glasses on because the number's kind of blurry. We'll go for that. It is a checked mesh color cream and lavender. And this is just the poly burlap mesh RP810013 in the color of lavender. RP810013. Okay, so let's make some petals. And I have to look here now. All right. Okay, we've got this frame. Now this is a little bit different than some other 10-inch frames. Usually a 10-inch frame has 4 sections. And I would put 3 petals in each section for 12 petals. But this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections. So I'm going to put 2 petals in each section for 12 petals. It's the same thing, just make a few less petals in each section. I'm going to use bar number 2. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 bars. So let me just put a zip tie under there and get it ready. I'm going to hold my mesh with the finished edge on the top and the bottom and just bring these 2 corners together, scrunch them up, pinch them, and bend them over. Now this is very thick, much thicker than a normal petal would be. And I'm not overlapping them, I'm just keeping them separate. So now I'm going to go here and we're going to zip it up. my cutters. All right, let's do that again. We put the finished edge top and bottom, bring these two pieces together, scrunch them up. It makes sort of like a little bow tie. Turn it over and bend them forward. And then you have to really squeeze it because it's quite thick. And you really should put your zip tie in first, but I shall do that. And I'm going to go right in that zip tie that I have stuck underneath the other one. There you go. Now see, with the other frames, you would put 3, but 3 wouldn't fit in here. Now I'm taking this one and I'm going to put it over that one. There we go. On to the next section. I'm going to do one more section and then I will finish this row off camera. Hemmed edges together. Crunch it up. Bend it over. And create the petal. And get the other end of the zip tie out from underneath the other petal. And then one more. Middle, middle, scrunch it up. Okay, like this. Okay. Turn it over and bend it in half. And then you have to kind of really push it together. And then I'm going to take this one from the previous one and put it on top of that one. And you have to kind of play with your leaves just a little to get them the way you want them. And they will move a little bit on that ring if you need to adjust them. Okay? All right, I'm going to finish this row and I'll be back when I'm finished going around the first row. Okay, I'm on the second row. I thought I was recording and I was not. What I've done, I'm using the one that we did with the window pane on top. And I'm trying to put one in between every one of these, which would be another 12 petals. It's a little bit difficult because it's tight. But if you get the zip tie in first, same petal, but you see the white is on the outside. There, I think that's a little better. And you don't want to overlap them. They're thick enough without having them overlapped in the middle. And I'm just twisting it up, creating a petal, and putting it in between these two on the third bar. We used the second bar, so we're going to use the third one now. And then I push this down because the edges of them, as I said, are sharp. All right, let's do a couple more. Oh, let me put a zip tie in first. It makes life a lot easier. There we go. Point to point. Scrunch it up. Bend it over. And form your petals. There we go. Sometimes I have to put my finger underneath here to poke that one up. The hem at the top and the bottom. In and in. Scrunch. There we go. Right in between those other ones. And I have this one upside down. Oop. There we are. There we are. And push this down, avoiding cut fingers. Isn't this coming pretty? Look at that. All right, I'm going to continue going around, and I'll be back when we got this level on. Okay, there you go. Actually, I've got one of the third ones in. I was just trying something. But you can see all of the white mesh on top of the other mesh. Boy, is this nice and full. My goodness. So what I'm doing now is I'm putting some zip ties down through this mesh. And I don't know how many I'm going to get in here. I just want to cover up best I can these little knobs that we've got here, okay? So it's very difficult for me to get these zip ties in because my mesh is too small. But I'm going to give it my best shot. I've got one. And we're back to the original with the plain purple on the outside. I tried it with a 4-inch one, and there was just no way I could get it around the end of this. So I put that one in, and this one is about just a couple of holes away from it. So, and I'm just skipping about one hole and coming back up again. So the hardest part of this is going to be getting these through the mesh, but I'll get it. I either need to get wider mesh or skinnier zip ties. The holes in this mesh are smaller than they should be, but it is what I had, so that's what I'm using. Oh, and I broke right through the mesh that time. Look at that. I broke right through the plastic. So, fair warning, don't pull too hard. But there's other holes. We'll just go in a different one. You have to go the right direction. Let me just give a few more holes between it. So there's, whoops, there's a little bit more mesh, a little more plastic sheet to work with. I think I just didn't leave enough between the two pieces. Well, come on now. There we are. All right. We'll do this again. Okay. See how that hides the pieces that we have in there? Now let's get another piece in here. And we'll come back up. I have to look at it so I can see what I'm doing here. Sorry, I'm not really showing you too well. Get in there. I've got it. I just can't reach it. There we go. This is a very full wreath. And I thought, this is an 8-inch frame. And wait till you see when I put it on the door how big it is. It's amazing. How wide this comes out. Oh, Donna, your life would be a lot easier if you had skinnier zip ties. I almost went to the Dollar Tree this morning to try to get some skinnier ones. But I said, I'll try and make these work. And they will work. It just takes a little more effort. I kind of have, there you go. I kind of have to put it through the hole sideways. I don't know if you can see that I'm going to be coming back up just a few holes away. I think I'm going to get 2 more in there. So let me come back as soon as I got the other 2 in. You don't have to watch me try to get these things through the mesh. Back in a bit. All right. Isn't this pretty? Now look, I just put the middle in. Isn't that gorgeous? Absolutely perfect. What a pretty, pretty wreath. And I put it in, put the wires through, twisted them around, I cut them off, and then I stuck the ends of them back through the mesh. Now, I will put probably a piece of felt right around here, and then any of these little doodads won't scratch the wall or the door. And you know, I was thinking that this was not going to be big enough to be used as a regular wreath, because it was only on an 8-inch frame. This is a big wreath. Let me take it over and put it on the door and you can all see how pretty. Back in a second. Look at that, folks. I am so excited. I am so excited. That is gorgeous. Let me take you in close. And you can see that pretty middle with all the little flowers on it. Fits in there just perfectly. And look how big that is. That's a regular sized door. So that's a good sized wreath on an 8-inch frame. Now I think one time during this video I might have said 10, but it's an 8-inch frame. I love it, love it, love it, love it. So what do you think? Ready to fuse some mesh together? So give me a second. I'll be back with some closing remarks. Don't go away. So there you go. If you enjoyed that video and you like that wreath, please give me a thumbs up. I really would appreciate it. You can see it over here on the door. Let me see if I can get out of the way. There we go. Look, it really fills up the door quite nicely. And it was on an 8-inch frame. I think I might have said 10 once, but it's 8. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a little challenging because that mesh, lots of times when you do a fused petal, you fuse poly burlap with regular deco mesh, and the deco mesh is considerably thinner, and so your petals aren't so bulky. But although they were bulky, I got the same amount in that other ones I have seen have put in, and it just made an extremely poofy, pretty wreath. I love it. So please, as I said, give me a thumbs up. And if you're new here and you like doing some wreath work and other kinds of crafts, stop by again. Hit that subscribe button and the bell and you'll be notified every time we make a new project. Projects are usually Tuesday, Friday, and then cooking on Sunday. So this Sunday will be the last of our breakfast menus. And then we're moving on to April. And you know, next Sunday is Easter Sunday. And I'm not sure if I'll have a video up or not. Probably will, but we'll see. In the meantime, I hope you all have a great Friday afternoon or Tuesday morning or Wednesday afternoon or whenever it is you're watching this. I'm filming it on a Friday afternoon. And it is going to be 91 degrees here by the middle of the afternoon. A record temperature for March, 91 degrees. I'm not ready for this. A little bit of spring, please, folks. Anyway and anyhow, have a great day. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you Sunday. Don't forget, keep your distance. Play by the rules. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. And everybody, play nice now. See you Sunday. Love you. Bye-bye.